What's going on, YouTube? We're back in the woods again today with the KTM 390 adventure, and this time for a pretty substantial adventure. We're going to ride from where I live on the west side of the Cascades, through the mountains, and then down through the high desert to reach Bend, Oregon. And we're going to try and do as much of it as possible off-road. The total journey is about 310 miles. I'm about 40 miles in now. So it's going to be a long day of riding, so let's get to it. Okay, we're in it now. So the first roughly 50 miles of this trip starts off with a slab of pavement and then comes to this kind of road, which is, I think this is technically called Abbott Road. I know it as NF 4610, and this basically runs all the way up to the top of kind of the range right by, I think it's actually past government camp. And so it kind of pops out in the like Trillium Lake, Clear Lake, Timothy Lake area. And from there we're going to make our way to a little highway, and we're going to take a jaunt out to Maupin and turn south. And then that'll take us eventually to a bunch of dirt roads that'll run all the way down from top to bottom through the Ochoco National Forest. So we're going to hit two national forests. We're going to do this one, the Mount Hood National Forest, and then Ochoco later. Like I said, total journey is about 310 miles. I have about 270 to go. And a lot of it is this kind of road. Now this road in particular is pretty washed out. I mean, look at that. Just carved right out. And this is where I appreciate having a little bit knobbier tire, but you can do this on the TKC 70s just fine. You do not need the type of tire that I have on here, the Motaz Traction Air Rally. It's a bit overkill for this kind of trip. But it never hurts to have a little extra grip. Oh, geez. Wow. Every time I come up here, this has been a little bit rougher. Still cool though, cool to see. So I think, last year I did this trip. I hadn't yet started a YouTube channel. I wanted to do it again to film it. But this year we're packing a lot lighter. Last year when I did this, I had this idea in my head that I should have all of this stuff for contingencies. And so I brought like a camp chair in case I wanted to take a rest, and I brought, like all kinds of stuff, this really large toolkit, and, a bunch of extra water, like a lot of stuff that I ended up not even using or touching or needing. Bug spray and all these things, all these kind of what you might call luxury items. So I had two full panniers, and I still had a bag on the back and a tail bag, and I ended up using almost none of it. So this year we went really light. I grabbed one 20-liter bag that contains all of my film equipment as well as my personals, because we're not going to make it back today. Like, this is a multi-day trip, but I'm only going to film day one because that's where all the action happens. And so yeah, basically it's like small toolkit, tire puncture thing, air pump, a little first aid kit, and then I grabbed a little change of clothes and just some other really like basic things, like not much. Honestly, the bulkiest components that I ended up bringing is all the filming stuff. And if you're not making YouTube videos and you want to do this kind of trip, you don't need that. So just something to think about, when you're going on a trip, really think about what do you actually need. A lot of that stuff, like I said, the camp chair and all that, I just never ended up using it. I rode all day. And it was kind of a good thing I didn't take a lot of stops, because last year this ride took me all day. I think I rolled into Bend at like 8 or 9 p.m. and I left at like 7 in the morning. I guess just be conscientious. All that extra weight too does like affect your handling on the bike. Golly, it is just gorgeous up here. Another thing I want to mention too is that I see a lot of people who have this idea that you can't travel on something like the 390, like it's too small and it won't go the distance. or it won't be comfortable to go the distance. And to be fair, you know, the type of trip we're doing today, yeah, you could absolutely do it on a bigger bike, and you could be much more comfortable along the way, but the challenging sections are going to be more challenging. And you know, I think on the flip side of that, take something like the 390, it's just as comfortable as it needs to be, and it will be much more easy to deal with some of the challenging spots. Some of the things along this course are sand, which is definitely hard on a big bike, really deep, loose gravel, and a bunch of water crossings. Oh, and there's also a landslide that we're going to cross too. It kind of washed out a road and they fixed it, sort of. So it's a little bit steep and odd. But all that stuff's much more difficult on a big bike, and doing it on a small bike makes it more manageable, especially if you're new to off-roading. In addition, you know, bikes like this, like the 390, have pretty good wind protection, and honestly, I think that the stock seat is great. I've heard people don't really like it, but for me, it's been pretty awesome. This is one of the only bikes I have never put an aftermarket seat on. So just something to think about. Anyways, I think what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna basically put this thing on a time lapse, and we're gonna cruise through until we get to a really rough section, and then we'll get some action shots and we'll go from there. Light work for an adventure bike or a dirt bike, but it's no joke for something like a... Oh. Huh, they took the roadblock out. Oh, it's right there. Someone probably just moved it. Oh, nice. Okie. Back on pavement again. Did you think we would ever see the day? Oh boy. There's a little lookout I'm going to stop at here. I'm going to take just a little break. Yep, it's right here. Hopefully no one is here. Yeah, look at that. All to ourselves. Man, what a gorgeous view. Cannot beat it. I like how when you look up there, you can see where the tree line ends coming up the mountain, real obviously. By the way, if you don't know, that is Mount Hood, and this is the Mount Hood National Forest. One of my favorite places. It's just absolutely wonderful to be out here on such a beautiful day. Or just at all, honestly. I'm going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to hit the road. Alright, so I'm at the Oasis Cabin Resort. It's a good spot for a burger and a shake along the way. I'm going to grab something to eat, and then we're going to pick this back up when we hit the dirt again. See you there. Alright, well, we're really in the desert now, as you can see. We're headed into Ashwood, Oregon. This is Pony Butte Road, and this is really out there. I mean, we jumped off the highway, but this is seriously in the middle of nowhere. This road's pretty curvy and really fun, so I lied a little bit when I said we were going to catch up when we hit the dirt. We're going to do this little twisty section first. It's really cool though, it's a great section, so this will get some of those chance to finally put these one-times traction in our rallies through the paces on a really curvy road. You don't normally ride roads that are as curvy as this one, and it doesn't look like it right now, but trust me, it really gets there. So I'm going to shut up and we're going to hit these corners. Okay, we've been in the dirt for about 10 miles or so now, but it was like easy, kind of just loose gravel, pea gravel roads. Now we're on something that's a little bit more tough, and this is going to persist pretty much all the way through the National Forest. So this is the part I wanted to get to, and yeah, let's do it, let's go. This stuff is hard packed, it feels like, but the rear end is really moving all over when I'm going around these corners. It's it feels looser on the rear than it does on the front. It's very strange. I remember the first time I came through here, I was really questioning if I was just getting completely lost. But, you know, yeah, you figure it out. It's not too bad. My GPS does not seem to know where we are, though. Well, it's figuring it out, also. I gotta tell you guys too, you know, if you're watching this and you're thinking about doing a big adventure, I think the three biggest pieces of advice I can give anyone are plan your route well, pack light, don't take anything you don't need, and drink lots of water. Take breaks, drink water. You know, those are really, really important. When I first did this route, I planned it out as well as I could on a GPS map, and I scheduled time to make stops for myself and all those things. And I ended up not needing some of that. I didn't need that many breaks, and I didn't need all the gear I took with me and all that. And I was a little over-prepared. And now that I've done it and I kind of know what I'm in for, I can limit down what I'll take on these things. Although to that end, you know, I could have taken less on the initial round just to begin with. Now that I've done more adventures, I'm kind of figuring out like what my kit needs to look like, but I think you kind of got to just do it before you really get a sense for what you do and don't actually use. I always bring a camp chair with me, for example, just about on most of my adventures, and I almost never use it. And part of that is because I'll ride from sun up to sundown without ever really feeling like I need to take a minute and sit down off the bike. But you know, it doesn't hurt to have that kind of thing if you have space for it. You know, if your kit isn't overloaded. But I kind of stopped bringing stuff like that with me because I just wasn't using it. And so the more you adventure, you know, the more you figure out what you want in your kit. You can watch everyone else's videos about what they bring with them, but you know, it's really kind of unique to the person. Everybody has like certain comforts they're not willing to go without, and you know, for some people that might be a chair, or it might be something else like a cooling vest or something. I really don't know. You know, so it's kind of on you to figure out, but it doesn't hurt to kind of look at what other people are doing and get like a general idea or a baseline. This is cool. Man, I haven't seen milkweed in a while. We are almost to the Ochoco National Forest. I can see the border of it coming up. That's pretty cool. Nice. Whoa, that is rockier than I remember. Holy crap. Alright, well, let's try not to fall over. We'll see how it goes. Whoa. That was a little loosey-goosey, if I'm honest. Tell you what though, my legs are a bit cooler now. Feels kind of nice. Oh yeah, the more breeze rushes over my now wet pant legs, that feels awesome. I'll tell you what, the road ruts are definitely deeper than they were last year. Gotta watch out for that. Whoa. Another one. It's asking me if I need a break, but there are no restaurants, no gas stations, and no rest areas nearby. It's because we're too far away from everything. kind of silly that it bothers to ask if you need a break at one of these places if there's nothing nearby, but I guess it's trying to tell you, you've been riding for a long time, you should take a minute. And that's fair, you know, you don't want to outride yourself. If you get too tired, you're not going to be able to keep up with what's happening, and you start losing focus, and that's how accidents happen. So I'm going to take a break though in a minute myself, just because we're coming up on Ochoco National Forest, and before we ride all the way across it, I want to just take a minute to relax and stretch out a little bit, get some water, and then we'll come back to it. Alright, we finally made it to Ochoco. We just crossed the boundary. The sign is right here next to me actually for entering National Forest. So we're on the north end of the Ochoco National Forest, and we're going to ride all the way to the south end, just pretty much straight across. We're going to enjoy these roads. And then after that, it'll be time to go find our hotel. So let's get on the way. Alright guys, well, we're coming up on the highway right here, so we're going to check in a little bit and just kind of have a short wrap up. See you there. Alright, made it to the hotel in one piece. We ended up clocking on about 275 miles today, which was a little bit less than I thought it was going to be, but I didn't have as many reroutes and diversions as I did last year. Overall though, great day of riding, and I'm really glad you guys could come along with. If you like this kind of content, please like and comment down below and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and I appreciate it a lot. Till next time, peace.